Yes, people, myself TS, welcome back to another No Filter TS. And in this one, just talking about the England squad, it's been announced. And yeah, definitely some players that's been selected, which is a bit questionable for me. But I'm going to go through it and I'm going to speak on it, and I'll give my thoughts on it all. Goalkeeper wise, it's the three I expected in Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope and Aaron Ramsdale. Defenders, Trent, he's had a bit of criticism this season, but he was always going to go, I think, in my opinion. Obviously, you had like Reece James injured. Walker's just come back from injury. He would be, I definitely think in Southgate's eyes, the number one right back or wing back, depending on what sort of system we're playing. Connor Cody, some would argue that Tarkowski's had a better season than him. Someone like Tomori that hasn't come. Some would say he's a better option than him as well. The same can be applied to Eric Dyer, who's been put in the squad, who just the other week had a howler of an error against Liverpool. Harry Maguire, who's been the captain of United but been dropped. Was it just the other week? He was asked to play up front for 10 minutes. This guy's head, truth be told, seemed to be all over the place. He's done good for England in the past, but for a manager to say they're picking someone on form and that, the selection of Maguire definitely doesn't go with that. Luke Shaw, I think he's had a decent season for United. After coming back in the side after being dropped for Malacia, he's definitely shown some levels of quality, so I'll give that to him. John Stones is always going to go for me as long as he's fit. He probably, of the list there, he is probably the best centre half we have. Truth be told, Trippier is having a good season at Newcastle, so again, he can do both right back and left back if needed, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him playing that left wing back in certain games. Kyle Walker just coming back from injury, but his experience, at times will play as part of a back three, or always can play as the right back as well, so it's understandable. And then Ben White, centre half by nature. He's played for Arsenal this season at right back, and he's done really well at right back. He's done well a couple of times getting forwards, doing the overlaps, and I think he's got a couple of assists. But he's been really solid and really slotted into that right back role well. And I definitely think depending on what sort of system Southgate decides to go with, but in certain games, if he decides to go with a back three, White as that right-sided centre half can actually allow for someone like Trent to push further forward and the defence kind of adjust into a back four at times. And, I don't think Southgate's that tactically nous to think of stuff like that, but White definitely had to go. He's had a really good season so far. Into the midfield, Bellingham, it kind of... he kind of speaks for himself. He's working wonders at Dortmund. Gallagher, that's someone I thought I was a bit surprised by his selection. Nothing against him, I think at the time of when he was on loan at Palace, he was really ripping it up. So far this season at Chelsea, hasn't done too much. He scored that good goal against Palace. But other than that, he's more, it's weird because he's an attack-minded midfielder. I just think that, in terms of what we have in the squad, someone like a James Ward-Prowse would have been a better option to bring, in my opinion. Henderson, Liverpool not really been at it, but I think with Hendo, it's not so much about him starting the matches, but, he's someone, if you want to try and, shore a game up with, 15 minutes to go. And I just think he's leadership qualities, and that will be good around the squad. I think that's what Southgate's picked him for. Mason Mount, has had a... I think Chelsea's had a iffy start to the season, obviously with things not going well with Tuchel and stuff, but you know what he's capable of doing. And I understand his selection. Declan Rice is going to be a starter for me. I expect him to be him and Bellingham to be guaranteed starters in this competition. So it's understandable. Calvin Phillips, this guy's been out injured. He played 10 minutes. So, nothing against Calvin Phillips, but in my opinion, based on form and fitness and that, I would have thought that someone like James Ward-Prowse, again, would have been a better option to bring. But, it's Gareth making these decisions. And then into the attacking options, Foden, understandable, picks himself. Grealish, You know, had a decent season so far. You know, this whole Almiron talks, you know, kind of come back to haunt him, but, you know, we know what Grealish is capable of doing. Harry Kane, again, speaks for itself. Maddison was glad to see him finally get picked. I think there would have been a lot of backlash if he weren't in the squad. You know, Rashford, of recent, has started to show his qualities again. And I think, again, it's a good option off the bench as well. You know, we want players that's able to make impacts in games, you know, in second halves where maybe we need to, you know, get another goal, or even if you just want to, even if we're winning the game comfortably, but, you know, 15, 20 minutes to go, even 25 minutes to go, and the opposition's starting to get tired in this, you know, Qatar heat, and you start bringing a man like Rashford to just start running at defenders. It's not what they want. You know, this ain't what they want, like little Dirk. So he can definitely be a threat in that aspect. You know, Saka, again, I expect him to be a starter. I expect him to be the guy starting on that right wing for England. And, you know, this guy's just, he's done so much in such a short space of time, and hopefully he can have a good World Cup. Sterling, you know, made the move to Chelsea, started the season off well, been a bit hit and miss since, but, you know what he's capable of doing, and he's proven it before in the England shirt. And then Callum Wilson, again, Newcastle doing really good at the moment, but I think when I look at the other options, I think, you know, Toney would have been a better option. You know, is it he's just not gone because of this whole betting scandal thing? I personally think so. I personally think that might all be the reason he never featured the last time he got called up to England, but, you know, that's for another video if I choose to do it. Obviously, Tammy Abraham missed out as well due to this, which is kind of surprising, but I'm guessing that the way that Gareth's looking at it is like, like Kane's going to play majority of the time, and then, you know, Wilson, or I'm thinking at times he might even be looking at Rashford as a striker, because that's really the only guys that can play that 9 role is Kane, Wilson, and then Rashford. So, you know, we'll see, but that's the squad. You know, no real you know, like young prospect surprises in there. You know, I thought if they was gonna bring one, someone like Anthony Gordon might have been a good, you know, surprise, but it ain't happened. And this is the squad going into, you know, the Qatar World Cup. You know, I think our group is what? USA, Iran, and Wales. Like, we should be coming out that group of 9 points easy. 7 points at the minimum. Anything less than that is a tragedy. So yeah, you know, I will do a separate video based on, you know, what my expected 11 is. I will do it based on 2 different formations as well. But, you know, based on this squad, you know, it looks like Gareth's included a lot of, you know, creative-minded players. I'm hoping that he's not trying to be... I'm hoping he hasn't brought creative-minded players and then try to play pragmatic football. Like, you know, we can't do this square pegs in round holes thing. We just need to be on this thing properly. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the squad. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you haven't already done so, go hit that subscribe button now. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.